objection that the county assembly had failed to meet the required 2/3 thresholds. Both sides, the county assembly and the governor's defense team, are set to make the final arguments before the senators decide on his fate later tonight.
Mr. Speaker.
Senator Okenyuri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would also wish to know on how long the system was open to allow members to vote. And finally, how do we know if the 9 people who are voting was one person who was voting 9 times? Thank you.
Senator Olekina.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I just want to refer back the witness to the report. And I note that specifically on number 9, that the following persons were in attendance: Mr. Philip Irode, Mr. Joan Mutai, the office of the governor, there was a council, and then there was an ICT advisor from the Mr. Weldon Langat, including the county assembly, Alfred Korir Kimutai, Mr. Hilary Kiplangat, and then you had the Senate Secretariat.
The chilling exhumation exercise in Kilifi County has taken a grim turn as 7 more bodies have been exhumed from shallow graves in Kwambizaro Chakama Ranch, bringing the total number recovered so far to 32. Government pathologist Dr. Richard Njoroge says most of the bodies were discovered without clothing, an indication they were buried hurriedly between weeks and months ago. Investigators also collected 54 human body parts believed to have been scattered by wild animals after the shallow burials. The operation, which has been running for 2 weeks, involves homicide detectives, forensic experts and pathologists amid fears that more bodies could still be buried in the area.
Today we have recovered, we have exhumed 7 bodies and also collected 54 body parts, which are spread distances away from the graves. So they look like they were spread by excavated and eaten by wild animals. Only a few bodies had clothes, most were naked. We have noted that at this particular site, the bodies look a bit fresh. They are not fully skeletonized, unlike last week. The bodies we exhumed last week were full skeletons with no flesh. But the bodies we found here look to have been buried a few months or weeks ago.
Na kitu ambacho inatushangaza 2 weeks now toka Binzaro ianze, hata neno moja kutoka kwa county government hatujaisikia. Je, inamaanisha kuwa wako na mkono wao ndani ya Binzaro na Shakahola? Ni lazima wajitoe na wakuje tuone ni vipi tutamaliza mambo ya religious extremism ndani ya Kilifi.
The government should also extend its investigations and collaborate with the locals so that they can have the information that will help them reach out to these areas that are actually continuing to practice this a very, very harmful cult.
While still on that, exhumation activities in Kwambinzaro, Kilifi County have been temporarily suspended. Authorities, however, say officers will remain at the site to continue searching for more graves, while the homicide unit has restricted public access to the area. Preparations are now underway for the post-mortem examination of the bodies, with officials urging families of the victims to travel to Malindi and provide their DNA samples. The public has also been warned against engaging in extremist teachings that could jeopardize ongoing investigations.
We are also appealing to the members of the community who we really appreciate, because the community here has been very good. They have really assisted the team. They have given us information, again, which has led even to the success of this exercise. We appreciate them, and we continue to encourage them that they continue being vigilant and share information on any people or new people that are coming into this ranch, so that we avoid an incident like this one. We'll also enhance patrols going forward, and also intensify intelligence collection so that we don't have another episode like this.
And in matters politics, a section of leaders from the Mount Kenya region allied to President William Ruto are taking issues with former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. The legislators are calling on him to stop ridiculing them over their political standpoints, urging instead that he focus on issue-based politics and the delivery of services. Led by Laikipia East MP Mwangi Kinjuri during an empowerment event in Nyeri County, the leaders described the Deputy President's remarks as shameful and unbecoming of a leader of his stature. They say it is embarrassing to see him discredit leaders whenever he addresses Mount Kenya residents.
Tunafuraha kujua kwamba watu ya Udhaya vita ni maendeleo, na hivyo ndio Wakenya tunatakiwa wawe, kwamba sio fitina ya siasa, kwa sababu hata tukija hapa siku ya leo tuwe kazi yetu ni kufitina, ni kutukanana wa viongozi kwa viongozi, kutukana serikali, kuwa hatuna heshima hata kwa watoto wetu, Kenya haitaendelea mbele. Lakini tukiwa na siasa ya maendeleo, ambayo ile siasa tunataka ndani ya Kenya, pembe zote za Kenya, sio siasa ya ukabila, lakini ni siasa ambayo itawafaidi wa Kenya kwenye kilimo, kwenye elimu yao, kwenye mahospitali kupata madawa, na ile ambayo itawasaidia kwa maisha yao.
Still on matters politics, a political storm could be brewing in Machakos County. This follows sharp divisions within the Kenya Kwanza coalition after two of its affiliate parties unveiled separate candidates for the upcoming Mumbuni North ward by-election. The seat fell vacant in the year 2023 after the death of area MCA Gideon Kavo, who had been elected on a Maendeleo Chap-Chap ticket. Yesterday, UDA presented businessman Hamisi Mutua as its candidate, while Maendeleo Chap-Chap fronted Farison Ambua, a move that now sets the stage for a bruising battle between the coalition partners. The by-election scheduled for November 27th is expected to attract stiff competition, with Wiper, UDA and Maendeleo Chap-Chap all fielding candidates, and already campaigns have kicked off at the grassroots level, with aspirants promising transformative change for residents of Mumbuni North.
Watu wa Mumbuni North wamesema wanataka misi, hawadaki chochote kingine. Ni the guy they want, kwa sababu wanataka kiongozi. Hawana shughuli na maneno mingi, wanataka kiongozi ambaye anafaa. Sisi wenyewe hata kabla, kiongozi ambaye hata hako kwa kanisa, ni mzee ambaye amekomaa, na huyu ndo wameamua watafanya kazi na hii.
Nawaambia kabisa, hiyo area zote najua shida zake, nishapitia kila mahali na wengi tumekutana. Kwa hiyo sio kitu nabahatisha, na mimi utembea vizuri sana na kwa miguu. Sio mahali popote ambayo najua ambapo kunahitaji barabara najua. Kwa hivyo mimi nawahakikishia, mimi mwenyewe tutapatana.
The government has issued a stern warning to bar owners operating near schools, saying a special operation will soon be launched to shut them down. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Migos Gamba insists that any bar found disregarding the directives will face closure in order to reduce distraction affecting learning. Meanwhile, leaders from Murang'a have raised concerns over the high number of bars licensed in the county, accusing the county administration of issuing permits without following the set regulations.
We're introducing a new policy known as the dual training policy, which now makes it mandatory for students in TVET not to be allowed to graduate until they have both theoretical training and practical industry training, so that they are market ready, job ready by the time they graduate on graduation day.
Those licenses that have been allocated to bars that are next to schools will be revoked, cancelled, because we do not want a situation where our youth, our students are being interfered with instead of supporting them in studying.
And fresh fears in Kwale County as Kwale County Commissioner Stephen Orindi has issued a stern warning over the re-emergence of the outlawed Mombasa Republican Council MRC in the county. Speaking during a peace meeting in Diani, Orindi revealed that security agencies have launched thorough investigation following reports that some individuals are attempting to exploit the group for political gains. The county commissioner emphasized that those behind the revival of the MRC group, which was outlawed in the year 2010, will face tough legal action if found culpable.
MRC tulia, lakini tukifanya uchunguzi ni intelligence gathering, tunahofia inaanza kurudi. Kisa na sababu bado hatujaelewa vizuri, lakini tunafikiria tu huenda wanajaribu kurudi kwa sababu 2027 unakaribia. Wengine sasa hao pia wanataka kujiposition ndio wakoe na wageni mbao. Kisema hivyo mnaelewa ni nini?
All security agencies say they will not allow the outlawed group to destabilize the region, insisting that peace and stability remain the top priority. On to other top story is that in Eldoret, startling revelations are emerging over the alleged organ trafficking claims linked to the Medihill Hospital. Some kidney specialists have admitted to receiving requests from several people, particularly young individuals, seeking to sell their kidneys. The disclosure was made before the National Assembly Health Committee, which is touring hospitals in Uasin Gishu County to gather evidence on the matter. The committee, chaired by Seme Member of Parliament Professor James Nikal, began its visit at the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, where they held discussions with renal specialists. The head of hospital's renal unit, Dr. Philip Cheptinga, confirmed that they had attended to patients who developed complications giving away their kidneys. The lawmakers also visited St. Luke's and Oaktree Hospital, which both conduct kidney transplant surgeries. However, the two hospitals distanced themselves from Medihill, saying they have no form of collaboration with the facility.
No patient would actually come to us and say, "Doc, I want you to prepare me for Medihill." We would actually tell them, look, go to Medihill and follow their protocols. So they got their own nephrologist, they got their own transplant surgeon, and they got their own team. So because of that, there was no way we were going to work with them.
We are trying to get the details of what this organ harvesting and transplant allegations is all about. It will continue because tomorrow we are going to have an interview with some people who claim they are donors.
And two children under the age of 10 have been defiled and brutally murdered within the past month in Chebukaka Village, Saboti constituency, Trans Nzoia County. Residents are calling on the police to take swift action against the rising cases of sexual violence in the area. The killings have left the community in shock and fear, with locals saying they no longer feel safe. Just 2 weeks ago, another child was found defiled and killed. The body abandoned in a maize plantation. Police are now urging residents to work closely with investigators to help identify and apprehend those behind these heinous crimes.
Nikampea chai akakunywa na alafu nikampea vitabu ya kwenda shule. Sasa huwa anaenda na watoto na jirani yangu huyu ako na wake wawili wadogo. Sasa wangu ni mkubwa wako. Huwa anaenda nao wote kwa sababu yeye ni wake mdogo, anapeleka mpaka shule. Sasa bila alipeleka akawacha watoto shule na yeye akarudi. Sasa harakati mimi nikatwa hapa mchana yote nikijua mtoto ako shule.
Walimu wetu na mashule zetu zenye ziko hapa, si tuongee na wazazi kuliko kutumanga watoto nyumbani kila siku. Kwa sababu kama huyu mtoto pengine wangepigia mzazi simu, huyu mkora angeshikia mtoto kwa mahindi ya uwe.
Nenda usisahau kuna dada yangu nyumbani. Hapo penye wameuia huyu mtoto hapo ni nyumbani. Na wakaua dada yangu akakutupa hapo kwa gate akiwa pia amerepiwa na amenyongwa.
Nasema leo huyu msaliti ama wanaitanga mnajisi lazima tumpate na tumtoe. Na tutaki kusikia serikali wamemwacha.
And in Kilifi, Muslim leaders are demanding immediate national elections within the Supreme Council of Kenya Muslims. SUPKEM arguing that their ongoing leadership wrangles are weakening the council. The leaders accuse the current office bearers of holding on to power without being duly elected, contrary to SUPKEM's constitution. They are now urging the Registrar of Societies to oversee fresh elections to end the prolonged stalemate that has persisted since the disputed 2019 pause. Led by former SUPKEM Malindi Branch Secretary Ustad Athman, the leaders termed it shameful that the council's internal issues have now escalated to the level of parliamentary investigations. The Rangos have split the council into two rival factions.
Tunaomba a total order katika SUPKEM yetu ambayo kwamba tumeizoea ni chama kinachotoa mwongozo. Kwa sasa there is no order at all. So we need an order ambayo kwamba itatupatia sisi imani kama Waislamu, kama members wa SUPKEM kuweza kuiamini. Pili, we are calling upon immediate election. Tunataka general election kwa sababu tumefanya election muda mrefu 6 years back na mpaka sasa hatujaitishwa election. Na cha kusikitisha na cha kusajabisha ni kwamba wale tuliowachagua wakati ule tukawaweka katika mamlaka wako nje na wale ambao kwamba hawakuchaguliwa ndio wanaoongoza shirika letu.
Kwa haraka iwezekanavyo uitishwe uchaguzi. Na si kuitishwa uchaguzi tu bali na kujadiliwa kwa kina. Kwa nini watu wengine wawe watakuja kuvamia nyadhifa ambazo hawakupewa uwezo wa kuingia katika nyadhifa kama hizo? Shida iko wapi? Na ni kwa nini wasishirikishwe members katika kujadili makero na kashfa na yani mambo yote yanayotatiza Waislamu wa Kenya kwa ujumla? Kwa nini wasishirikishwe members wakajadili mambo kama haya?
And as divisions within SUPKEM deepen, attention now shifts to the Registrar of Societies, whose next move could determine whether unity is restored or the Rangos continue to drag on. On to other story is that our Trade and Industry Cabinet Secretary Lee Kinyanjui has sounded the alarm over a looming crisis in the sugar sector. Kinyanjui has warned that sugar factories could be shut down due to a severe shortage of sugarcane. Speaking at Kibo's factory in Kisumu during a tour of the region, the CS said the survival of the industry depends on both farmers and factory managers finding a lasting solution to the crisis. He further revealed that Kenya faces an annual deficit of 400,000 tons of sugar, a gap that has forced the government to resort to imports. The warning now puts pressure on stakeholders in the sugar sector to urgently address the shortage and protect thousands of jobs that depend on the industry.
We have a huge shortage of cane for purposes of sustaining our sugar factories. So I think the first challenge to the farmers, to the county government and all the people within the region is that since our factories are now running, we have to go back to our farms. We have to grow enough cane so that these factories can run 12 months a year. As it is right now, maybe the next few months, unless something happens, we'll start having closures arising from shortage of cane. Yet we have huge tracts of land still available all the way from Transmara, parts of Kisii, Kisumu, Homa Bay, and all these counties that are neighboring here. We have a huge shortage of...
And it's 23 minutes past the hour. Let us take a short commercial break. We will be back shortly. Welcome back to EBN Weekend Edition. The Kenya Urban Roads Authority Kura has moved to address perennial flooding challenges along link roads in Mombasa. Kura has allocated 64 million shillings for drainage improvements at the Quick Mart section of the busy road, a stretch that has often disrupted transport and mobility during heavy rains. Speaking during an inspection tour with the Government Delivery Unit and Coast Regional Director Sherry Litunya, resident engineer John Kipkegut said the project will involve elevating the road and improving drainage to ensure it remains motorable all year round. The 7.5-kilometer stretch running from Nyali Center to Lights will also be maintained under a 12-month performance-based contract to guarantee serviceability. The development is expected to ease traffic flow and improve safety for motorists and residents along one of the Mombasa most crucial transport corridors.
Now we are working on this section to elevate the road because of the flooding issue that has been impending all through the years. Now what we are working on this area, we are elevating the section using pipe culverts. We have several vertical drains along the road. Now the vertical drains will be used as a seepage area where this water will penetrate after doing the culverts. Now to protect our road also for motorability throughout the year. And then again, we have a PBC aspect that we maintain the whole road throughout the year for 12 months for the whole section. That is 7.5 kilometers. Nyali Center to Lights, 7.5 kilometers. Yes. Now the challenges that we have facing here, we have a problem of now the ponding that is recurrent because of the improvements or the developments adjacent to this area, which provides, or it's, let me say it this way, the amount of water or the volume of water that is being generated from this development are so huge that eventually will flood this section. So that is an impediment. Now, according to that, now we have the challenge of funding, that for us, we could have taken these waters to the sea. Problem is funding. The amount of money that we have cannot allow us to take the water to the sea. So that is how it is. Thank you. We will take maximum 3 months. Maximum 3 months. But probably the contractor is good. We will work within 2 months.
And in Taita Taveta County, residents of Karibangi in Mwatate area are crying foul after a private investor demolished their home, leaving dozens displaced and livelihoods destroyed. The demolition carried out on the land the community claims belong to the county government has sparked outrage, with many locals accusing leaders of neglecting long-standing land disputes. Residents say they have lived and traded on the land for years, some even paying for business licenses, only to see their properties flattened overnight. They have described the demolition as unjust, devastating, and betrayal of public trust. The community is now appealing to the county government to intervene, resolve the ownership row, and ensure justice, warning that unless land wrangles in the county are addressed, more residents risk facing the same fate.
Haki itendeke, maana tumeharibiwa mali yetu hapa. Tumekuwa tukilipa biashara zenye kwa hapa, tunakatia leseni, tunalipa kila kitu tunaambiwa, lakini hatujaambiwa chochote ati kuko hivi wala vile. Naomba ikiwezekana tuje tufidiwe, tupewe haki yetu ipatikane, sisi kama wanasoko wenye ambao tulikuwa hapa, na si mmoja wala ni wawili, ni wengi.
Hili soko nimelelewa hapa na mama yangu akiwa kama mchuzi kwenye soko hili, mpaka nikapata ufahamu wa kuweza kujitafutia pesa zangu mwenyewe. Sasa hivi tunaambia kwamba ni soko la ni plot ya mtu binafsi, ambapo ilikuwa kama ni haki yenyewe, pawe na public participation, kwamba wananchi tunawatangazia hii sahi ni mali ya mtu, ama tunawatangazia yule ambaye ana pesa za kununua hapa aje anunue. Hatukutangazia hilo.
Mimi nimezaliwa hapa, nimekulia hapa. Mimi nina wajukuu, nina vitukuu. Mimi usubuhi nimerauka kaenda kwa mheshimiwa Mwadimi, nikamwambia mbona huji hapa kukaa na wananchi kujua vile matatizo yetu tumepata hapa. Mimi nimeguswa pale kidogo, hata naambiwa nitawekewa fence. Fence mimi nitapitia wapi? Nitapitia juu ya mabati. Mbunge uko wapi? Nani MCA uko wapi? Aika uko wapi? Senator uko wapi?
And that's all we had for you today. And not forgetting, as we conclude, remember that the County Assembly and the Governor's Defense Team of Eric Mutai are set to make the final arguments before senators decide on his fate later tonight with the proceeding currently ongoing at the Senate Assembly. And as we wrap up tonight's editions of EBN Weekend, remember that every challenge is an opportunity in disguise. Stay hopeful, stay resilient, and keep believing in the power of positive change. From all of us here at EBN TV, have a peaceful and restful weekend. Good night.